As we dive deeper into our markets here to start a short trading week this week, I want to turn our attention to Oliver Slope, Blue Line Futures. He's located in Chicago, and he joins us right now by phone. And Oliver, thanks for being a part of our show here this morning. We had a pretty sizable overnight sale of corn this morning, about 1/3 tons. We don't know where it's going, though. It's said to unknown destinations. So we don't know if that could be China or not. Maybe it could. But anyway, a sizable amount of corn, but nothing else this morning. And, you know, it's interesting. If you don't like big roller coasters, you probably want to turn your grain market monitor off today because it is a wild ride. Let's take a look at where we are in the corn market right now. So we had the corn this morning hitting a high of 4.29 3/4 per bushel. And now we're at 4.25 1/2. We are 2 1/4 cents higher right now, but we have the March contract gaining 4 cents at 4.32 1/4. It had been a couple of pennies lower than where it is right now, so it's kind of bounced back up in the last few minutes. On the soybean trade, right out of the gate, the Globex market hit $12 last night, and it just continued to go downhill after that, even though it did get up and retested. I think it hit 11.98 a couple of times later on in the nighttime trade. And then this morning, it's just been easing back. It took a steep dive here about a half an hour ago, and now it's starting to kind of stabilize at 11.90 1/2. So we're up 9 1/2 cents, and March is now up a dime at 11.91 1/4. It has bounced off of its low from a little bit ago by about 4 cents. Meanwhile, the December Chicago wheat with these quotes provided by Bar Chart, they're under $6 again. Now we're at 5.99 1/4. That's 6 cents higher. But we're about a nickel off of our earlier high today. In Kansas City wheat, the December contract now up just 1/4 cent. We're at 5.50 1/2 and almost on the low of the day. That's off our earlier high here by about 7 cents now. And if you look at spring wheat, well, we have December up 1.5 pennies at 5.45 1/2, currently resting right on the low of the day. So a lot of weakness creeping into the grain trade off of its earlier highs. Oliver, I just wondered if you've been hearing through your sources, what is causing that?
Well, as you had mentioned, we saw a lot of fireworks in the overnight session, a lot of that on the back of a little bit less rainfall than people wanted to see down in South America, in particular Brazil. So that really kicked the party off in beans and dragged corn and wheat right along with it. And I've been on your show for long enough where you've heard me say this plenty of times, that you always got to take the overnight session with a little bit of a grain of salt, because the volume is relatively light. When we get that floor open at 8:30 Central Time, you see a little bit more volume come into the market, and that confirms price. So you're seeing some sellers take advantage of the higher price action. We tagged some pivotal points up here for March corn, right at contract highs. 5.35 3/4 was the high in the overnight trade. That was also the contract high from November 11th. Psychologically significant, $12 handle for January beans. So it makes sense that you're seeing things back off a little bit here today. And as you mentioned, quite a bit of a roller coaster. And we haven't been participants in the bean rally over the last couple of weeks, just kind of sitting back and admiring the rally that we've seen. We're on pace to close, I think, 14 out of the last 15 sessions higher. And it's just one of these type of environments where you're risking 50 cents on either side of the market on any given day without much change in fundamentals. So we expect the volatility to continue through this holiday week.